Welcome again, everyone. Let it fly. I am your host, Jerry. And I'm going to apologize right now because this episode is going to be full of learning. So I give you the warning ahead of time just in case. You don't want to be learnt. And the learning, oh, pardon me, pertains to some RC vehicles. And it's not the RC vehicles, it's what they're based after. Audrey, come here. Come here. You've been slacking for weeks now. Really? Stig, do you want to take over for your sister as director today? Are you going to direct today? Okay. Stig is taking it on. He is going to be responsible to a point. Okay, you're not... Get in. Don't smile at me. Smile at everyone else. I said no. I said no. Yeah? No? Did I mean no? Yeah? Okay. Enough of you. You're a horrible director. First off, I'm getting the news out of the way. Oh, there's going to be some learning in that too. So we'll cover the non-learning part. So I got an email from Traxxas yesterday. Traxxas is finally releasing paint. Of course, they're very secretive about the price of said paint. You have your standard small 3-ounce paint cans, but they have a 13.5-ounce can. But looking at the 3-ounce cans are generally, $5 to $8. I'm assuming a 13-ounce can is going to be pricey. But they've got 28 colors. I'm going to try some Traxxas paint. Because right now I've moved away from the Spaz stick and I'm using the Duratrax paint. Which seem to me, the cans, the spray nozzles on the Spaz sticks seem to get clunked up a lot. And I'm constantly taking it off so I don't splatter paint everything. The Duratrax paints have seemed pretty good, and Arctic Wings RC, my local hobby shop, carries it so I can get paint. So we'll cover the paint, and now we'll talk about cross. So, I forget the name, nomenclature on their new crawler that they've had out, the Emu, but it's done fairly well. So now they're doing another crawler, Lexan body, the JT4. Go check it out, because here's where the learning comes into effect. So Axial, for a while now, it's been a couple years, they have had the Mighty FC, which is a Jeep cab over. The one that Axial has is the 2012 concept, which isn't really a concept because the real one was built in 1956 to 1965 by Willys, and then Kaiser Jeep, and it had a military background, and that is the platform that Cross chose to use. It was called the Jeep Forward Control, and it was a cab over Jeep truck. So it was technically, I think I would call it more of a van pickup than a pickup. They had moderate success with it, and again, almost got it. As with most Kaiser Willie Jeeps, it saw military time. 1964, the Navy and the Marines were using it. So Axial just released the 2012 version as the body, and they've been selling that for a while. Its dimensions are a little off. I think it was more designed for the SCX 10 and possibly the 2 to make it work. But Cross chose to go back because Cross is, above all things, a military vehicle maker. So they chose to take their new crawler and use the 1956 actual production vehicle to make their new crawler. And I think it looks great. But then again, I love old truck body designs anyways. And then to take, just like Cross or Red Cat did, let's bring a nice, real old school Jeep to the market with the Commando. Now Cross is going to do it. You know, I might not buy the vehicle itself, but I'm sure going to be looking to get that body because it looks good. Oh, and on a side note, the Jeep forward control was replaced by the Jeep Gladiator, which, for any of you that think that the Wrangler that exists now is the Gladiator, no. More learning, 1962 to 1988 was the Jeep Gladiator, which was built on the Wagoneer chassis. And it has the distinction of being a vehicle that ran for 26 years on the same platform. And it was used by the military, and that is what Jeeps are about, military use. So that is that. Let's move on. We're going to cross this off. Boom. Well, I guess I can cross that off too. So all I've been hearing about, we talked about it last week, was the price increases about materials. And, you know, I told you I've talked to a few manufacturers of auto parts that were running into some of that. But instead of increasing prices, all of our manufacturers are trying to get as much stuff built as they can. So they just say, if you can wait, if your customers can wait, you know, you guys can secure an order with us, and then as soon as we get it, we'll ship it out to you. And last week I had to talk to another manufacturer again, and coincidentally I said, so are these prices going up? And they said, no, we are not raising our prices. We are just making everybody kind of in a holding pattern until we get enough stock or enough inventory in stock to start fulfilling orders. So put your orders in if you need them, and we'll get them sent to you. Otherwise, you know, you're waiting a month or so. You can put your order in, they'll fill it first, and then they'll turn around and, you know, start being able to restock shelves with just random product. But there you go. No price increase. Getting the product to the customer, but you just got to wait. Hey, for a better deal, I'm going to wait over, you know, freaking out and raising prices. So that's all I've been hearing about all this week with the RC market. And to me, a lot of it sounds like just excuses by people who are getting free things from the company, because why not slow your production down, get your orders filled, and take care of things one at a time. You know, if a company who makes automotive shocks, per se, which they can be pretty important for driving your vehicle, can say, we'll take care of you without raising the prices as long as you can wait a bit. Just wait a minute. You know, we're having shipping problems. We're having problems getting inventory or to get the product, the stock that we need to make our product, but hey, it's slowly coming in. Take our time. And this is not just, say, that company. I mean, these are things that, when you're looking at the price of an RC kit, these pieces are a lot cheaper. I mean, a shock absorber is generally not a huge investment, but it's all made out of steel, metal, rubber, plastics, all the same stuff that we make RC cars out of. So with that in mind, I decided to go peruse to A-Main Hobbies and Tower Hobbies. Who was the other one I looked at? Can't remember. I noticed that only the name brands are jacking up their prices a lot. Some of these smaller brands, you know, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Some of them haven't even, MST hasn't even raised their prices yet. And if they did, I didn't even notice, because, of course, the CMF or CFX that I did, the kit is still the same price as it was when I bought this, you know, last month. But meanwhile, some of the ready-to-runs went up a little bit. But, of course, the CFX, they can't even seem to keep it in stock at A-Main. It's constantly out. But I noticed that my $519 Gladiator went up to $539.99, $540 basically, and their new one is $580. So, not to pick, you know, on one brand, but hey, Vanquish was up there too. I noticed their $700 kit is now $900. That's a bit. So now, we'll get off of that tangent, because that's neither here nor there. I mean, you know, I've got 5 examples of automotive companies compared to, you know, 5, maybe 4 or 5 examples of RC companies. And I'm looking at no price increases, waiting time, compared to, you know, if we're so hard to get stuff, why are we making all brand new stuff? Why don't we just focus on the stuff we already have and just pretty it up a bit or something? You know, instead of just going right to jacking up prices. You know, because there's a lot of people that's all they're going to hear. Jacking up prices, I'm not buying. Well, hey, you can still buy, because there's some inexpensive companies that I'm going to be doing my review on my MST. I am really enjoying the MSTs. And $350 doesn't really break the bank. But when you start looking at taking a kit that you're not sure of and jacking that up to $400, yeah, that might be disadvantageous, if that's a word. If it's not, copyright Old Guy right now. So here, because I still owe Muskie a Portal video on a Portal competition, I decided, because all I've ever heard is that the Unimog was the very first vehicle that ever had Portal axles. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't really know much of anything about Portal axles. So I decided to research Portal axles. I hate to tell everybody, Portal axles were invented in America. The first patent for Portal axles was by a small inventor in St. Louis, Missouri, I think that's how they say it, by Monroe Robert Greer. he patented a design for a portal axle, four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer vehicle way back in 1905. So I thought that was pretty impressive. I was like, because most people back in the early 1900s were focused on agriculture. He designed an actual vehicle, but it didn't catch on to the agricultural market until the 30s, where they were doing them on tractors. But meanwhile, a little known company called Jeffrey Motor Company in 1913 had a vehicle out, which eventually became, where the hell did my note? Where did my note go? It was called the Nash Quad. And it was an odd, I don't know, it was just a different looking truck. It wasn't what we think of trucks nowadays. It was more of a, like a beefed up Model T. But he came up with, or he made it with portal axles and rear steer. 1913. Little known, they eventually merged with the Nash Corporation, Nash Company. And they made this little truck from 1913 to 1928. And it saw heavy action in the First World War. And it had what is known today as portal axles. And it was because they used little skinny tires and they needed the ground clearance. And the rear steer allowed it to not drive in its same wheel tracks so it wouldn't get stuck. The whole reason for portal axles was ground clearance. And then the first, oh, it makes me giggle. The first automotive, see, that's what history says automotive, but meanwhile a truck is automotive. So I'm going to say 1913, and I'm going to take away the comments on some places that 1940 was the first automotive use of portal axles by Ferdinand Porsche. And guess what he put those on? If you like World War II movies, you've seen this vehicle. It is in almost every World War II movie, the command vehicle that the German commander's driving in before the good guys blow it up and everybody flies out of it screaming. The little open-topped, four-door Russian or German command vehicle, which was the Type 82 Kubelwagen. Sorry, any of my German viewers. You guys have a beautiful language, but I can just destroy it. The Type 82 Kugelwagen was based on the Volkswagen Beetle. And for those of you who don't know, the Führer had Ferdinand Porsche design the original Beetle, and we have Porsche to blame for the Volkswagen Beetle. But we also, the Kubelwagen, and then eventually the Volkswagen Thing, they were the same concept. That's, if you ever seen the Thing, it's basically the civilian version of the command vehicle, and it makes me giggle every time. But I stop giggling when somebody drives that thing into a lake, because it's amphibious. So there's the learning about portal axles, which I had never known. And it was just funny to see that everybody talks about portals as being an invention of Mercedes-Benz, and it wasn't. Two little guys, one in St. Louis, one in Wisconsin, both had the portal axles way before a Unimog even existed. But everybody in all of this research confirms that in general, you don't want to be driving down the highway in your portal axle vehicle. The one hiccup they haven't really ever gotten out of it. They are not fun to drive at highway speeds, I'm told, or I've read about. So, won't be putting them on my truck anytime soon. So now, here's where I have to ask for your guys' help. So, Joshua Reese has reached out to me. He's having an issue with his HG 802, 801. He wants to replace the steering in it. Well, I have luckily not had a problem with my steering, and seeing all those cables, I don't want to have a problem with my steering. So, if any of you guys have done steering issue work on your HGs, if you could go to my video about the HG shock mod, the 801, 802 shock mod, that's where he commented in. And I told him I'd look into it, but man, you got to tear that whole truck apart to get in there to figure that out. So, before I do that, if any of you can go to the comment section, if you've done that, and help Joshua out, and help me out before I take that apart, because I've actually taken, my 803 hasn't been taken apart as much as my 802. And my 802, for any of you that know that, as many times as you take those screws out, then you got to start friggin' gluing them back in because they don't want to stay put anymore. So let's go to another channel that hopefully I'll have down in the description. Bobbitt Reyes reached out to me, and then he wanted me to check his channel out. So I went and checked his channel out. He likes tanks. And he's got a lot of videos on making things for your RC tanks. You know, battle damage, making, painting, doing flags for them, and all kinds of neat stuff. So I checked out a few of his videos. So, Bobbitt, I'm going to put that down so that everybody can go check you out. And then we get to the shouts. This week, Wolf Standish, 7Welt, J Speed RC, Pooch WMC. Pooch, I have enjoyed our back and forth in the comment sections. Everybody else, Pooch is just getting back into RC after a hiatus, and it's going to be his primary hobby now. And he is looking at all kinds of stuff. So, Pooch, let me just shoot it out. You know, RC Nixter, MPK, the MPK Hobby RC, Hello RC. Oh my gosh, I am sorry, guys. J Sinister Productions, because he is interested in my Gladiator. So if he wants to see some more Gladiators, J Sinister has some stuff going on his. Hello RC just got his Gladiator not too long ago. He's got his Gladiator rolling. Who else on here? Who else on the channel has a Gladiator? Ron Hillman does. He doesn't have any videos though. Let me see. Ron Hellman, actually thinking of that. Still waiting for you to send me a text on some info. Buddy. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Man, I am sorry, guys. I am having just the ultimate brain fart on all of you guys. So, you can do that in the comment section of this video. Let's throw out, you know, places, you know, there you go. He's not a small channel, but Pooch, if you want to really do some tinkering and tuning on your Gladiator, you can go to the Scale Builders Guild, and Matt can show you all kinds of ways to use styrene, ways to paint, and I've used a lot of his techniques myself, you know, not as, I still want to get into some of the more in-depth detailing. But you're here, Pooch. We're going to cover all that stuff eventually. You're going to see that I have the best viewers on the tube. Everybody is going to jump to help any questions and comments you throw out that I can't answer, or I do answer and somebody else has a different opinion. We welcome it all here. And that is it. I need to make some more videos for you guys, so I am going to get at it today. Audrey, did you want to say anything before we're done? No? Still sleeping? I am going to ask Pez if you should be fired. And that's all. Thanks, everybody. Oh, I got the other director sleeping here, the fill-in. Can't get good help.